Michelin Roadway, Road Atlanta. It's been a minute. As always, work seems to get in the way. Of course, I mean, gotta make this money, I guess. But I really want to do 2 videos a month, but it's not happening. And anyway, thanks for y'all sticking with me as I try to make my unrealistic schedule work. But anyway, today we're gonna talk about tracking the Q50. Obviously, hope y'all enjoyed that intro. Now I'm gonna kind of dive into some more details of getting the Q50 on a track, and the same stuff will apply for a Q60, of course. So, first question everybody's gonna ask is, what have you done to the car to get it on a track? And I'm always gonna reply back with, you don't really need to do much to your car to get it on the track. I don't know why people be so scared to put their car on the track. You don't have to do that much. I made a video before, 4 things you need to do to get your car on the track, and I stuck to my own advice here. So, 4 things to get on your car on the track. You need to upgrade your brake fluid, the brake pads, your tires, and then check the ego at the door. You do those 4 things, you put any car that's mechanically sound on the track. That's all you really need. So I have a whole video on that go in more detail of it. Name of the game is thermal management, and I kind of harp on that in the other video, so check that one out, and I go into more detail on that. So where did I track the car? As I said before, I went to Road Atlanta in the great state of Georgia. It's was hosted by J-Zilla Track Days in partnership with Z1 Motorsports. They ran a great event as expected. I mean, as usual. Been to a different Z1 Motorsports event, and it was well ran, and this was no different. I ran in the novice solo class. I usually run in like a novice solo or intermediate. That's what I usually run in. I have my personal reasons for doing that. Once you run in, you know, get up there and run in those advanced or expert classes, it gets closer to a wheel-to-wheel race, and I ain't out there to race. I'm out there to get to drive my car freely on the track, but I ain't really trying to race nobody. But in those advanced and expert classes, it gets closer to that, and that means it's, you know, the probability of something happening to your car goes way up, and I'm just not trying to do all that. So the difference is when you do intermediate or novice solo, they usually have designated passing zones, usually a straightaway. So you usually can only pass on the straights. So you don't have to worry about nobody trying to pass you on the turn. That's where the accidents are going to happen. So I usually stick to those classes, just out of safety, and out of the chance of something happening to my car. It's going to be my fault if something happens, not just some dummy, you know, not checking the ego at the door. So that's just my personal reasons. You can't run in an advanced or expert unless, you know, you got to have the receipts to run in those classes. You got to be able to show that you've been to a lot of track events, you got track time, and you're not just some person that walked off the street. So the people that don't check the ego at the door will get the ego checked very quickly when they go try to sign up for a class that they're not qualified for. They're going to ask you for receipts. They're going to want to see literally what have you been doing, what makes you qualify to be able to run in those classes. So I love that aspect. But anyway, personally, I probably won't ever run in those classes because it turns into more of a competition than just having fun, and I'm just trying to have fun. Anyway, the next question somebody's going to ask is, did you have any issues with the car? And the answer is nope. No, No issues at all. Car ran perfect. Car ran perfect. I mean, I wish I could report an issue to you, but there's nothing to report on it. It was 5 sessions of the day. I did 4 out of the 5 sessions. Car ran perfect. No overheating, no pulling of timing, no braking issues, no tire issues. The car handled great. The car did what I expected it to do with the way I have it modified. So, what they're gonna ask, I know, what did you do to your car? I have my car is lightly modified. Most people who follow me know I don't do much major modification to my car. I try to just stay at just good enough to get on the track. So I'll give you a quick rundown of what I have done to my car. I know it matters to y'all, but I'll just let y'all know you really only need to do those 4 things I mentioned in the beginning to get on the track, but I'll tell you what I have besides that. So I have upgraded ceramic pads. I have DOT 5.1 brake fluid. I ran with Continental DWS tires, 06, the DWS 06 Extreme Contact. I have a strut bar, front tire strut bar. I have a rear sway bar. I have the Z1 subframe collars. Since I have a Red Sport, I have dynamic digital suspension, which was great on the track. As an aside to that, know your $800, $1,000 BC coils are not better than a dynamic digital suspension. If you didn't pay like $4,000 for your suspension, you're not even close to DDS. Yes, somebody argued, but my BC coils ride better on the street than the DDS, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's static. In that one situation on your road with your setting, it probably rides better. But DDS constantly adjusts for each road. So as soon as you switch to a different road that's not your home road, your static system is not going to ride good no more, and then you're going to have to readjust your setup. Whereas dynamic digital suspension is always readjusting and constantly keeping the car flat. That's what it does. It tries to keep the car flat with the sky hood, the log hood. I got a video on it if you want to check it out. It explains it, what DDS is actually doing, and that's that. Anyway, getting on my rant. So know your BC coils ain't better than DDS. Sorry guys. Then power wise, I am untuned. I'll get into that in a second. I have downpipes, wide pipe, drop-in filters, and then BMS turbo inlets. That's it. That's all I have for power mods. When you're on a track, you don't want to run no kill map. That's what people think. I'm gonna go put my kill map on and I'm gonna go on a track and I'm gonna blow by people. No, your car gonna overheat. That's what's gonna happen to you. You ain't gonna make it through the 20-minute session. That's what's gonna happen to you. So running untuned. I mean, I have a Red Sport. I got something under 400 horsepower to the wheels, somewhere around there. Y'all know they dyno around 360, 370, and then I'm a little bit modified, especially with those downpipes. So I probably got a little closer to 400 horsepower to the wheel. That's more than enough for a road course. I mean, it's gonna take a car, at least on a straightaway, it's going to take a car with more than 400 horsepower to be able to pass you. But on a track, as you will find out, that's why you got to check your ego at the door, that little Miata might beat you around the track. That little 90 horsepower Miata going to beat you around that track. Because the driver mod is what matters when you're on a road course. When you're at the drag strip, it's about the car. Whoever got the fastest car is gonna win, barring, major slipping at the line. If you hook, then you're going to win if you got the faster car. On a track, it's about the faster driver. So that little Miata will run circles around you, even though you got your red Sport 400, and and you got your JB4 and your what's it called, Ecutech or whatever, and you got your kill map on, and he's gonna run right past you in that Miata because he's the better driver. That's what I love about going to the road course. So my car is modified just enough to be able to make it through all those sessions and be able to drive home. Nothing special done to my car, and I'm on the track. And I know it's people out here who don't even track their cars got way more modifications than I do. But if we got on the track, I'll probably run circles around. but anyway, let's talk about the feel of the car around the track. And I'm speaking from my lightly modified car. So the FM platform is a platform that has raced. All the fanboys of the GTR, R32, 33, 34, the new GTR, R35. So the R35 has premium FM platform, and then we run just the regular FM platform. And FM means front midship, meaning that the engine is in the front, but it is moved to almost the center of the car as possible. So that allows the car to have to be able to rotate way better than you would expect, especially with the weight of the car. And that's something to kind of talk about here. So when you drive the Q50 around the tracks, and even especially the Q60, which is heavier around the track, you feel the weight, but that does not mean the car doesn't rotate. So the FM platform has a tendency to rotate under braking. So people who do road courses, they know about using your weight transfer to help you with grip, and the FM platform loves it. You do a little trail braking with the FM platform, it's going to rotate. You do too much trail braking, the car is going to really rotate, and you can spin the car out, especially your rear wheel drive guys. So so be careful with that. The car reacts very well to weight transfer, and it's done on purpose. If you ever, I know some of y'all, like I said, are fanboys of the GTR, and if you were to look up the GTR, and especially look up the engineers, I'm an engineer, so I like to see what the engineers say. You will hear them talk about how, yes, the GTR is heavy, but they use the weight to their advantage. They use that weight transfer to get extra grip to the wheels. That's why, along with the all-wheel drive system, that's why the GTR handles the way it does, because they actually utilize the weight of the car to add more grip to the wheels. The more weight you have over the top of the tire, the more grip the tire has. So weight is good and bad, so that's something you learn as the more you track your car, you learn about weight transfer. But if you ever go find the GTR engineers interview on YouTube and listen to them talk about how they use the weight to their advantage. Since the Q50 and Q60 is on the same platform, the characteristics are the same. The GTR is the ultimate form of the FM platform, but at the end of the day, we still got the same platform, and the tendencies are still the same. The tendency is rotation or oversteer, under braking. So I use that to my advantage, and then you see I added a rear sway bar, and then I added those Z1 subframe bushings. That was to enhance that tendency even more. So, from the factory, most of these cars, they are, they have some understeer. That's like across the board. Even the new C8 got understeer and built into it, because most of the people buying those cars are not good drivers. They just can afford the car. You know, just because you can afford the car, it don't mean you can drive it. So they know that, and they usually dial in understeer. So to take out that understeer, I did the rear sway bar and then the subframe collars from Z1, and that made my Q50 in particular is basically neutral to slight oversteer at the limit. So just a little bit of trail braking and my car rotates just fine. It doesn't fight you at all. You feel the weight, but the car rotates, so it's like, who cares? So that's on that. And then I have a DAS car. So I know a lot of people, oh man, F DAS, that DAS is trash, blah blah blah. Nah, DAS gives you one big advantage at the track. There is no fluid to worry about, and the name of the game at the track is thermal management. So I don't have to worry about boiling my power steering fluid. Most of y'all probably have never experienced that, or don't even know that that can happen. But yes, you can boil your power steering fluid. When you get on the track is usually when it happens. If you have a G37 or P70 or any other FM platform car before DAS came out, you will notice you have a power steering cooler on the car. I mean, it's not adequate on the track. You will boil that fluid. On my G37, I used to put Matic S in my power steering fluid so that it would have a little more room for heat tolerance. And that's how I got my power steering fluid to survive the track and my back road excursions and mountain road excursions. So I did it by putting Matic S in there along with the cooler, and then it would handle me on the track. So what happens when the fluid boils is you basically lose some power steering. So your normal effort changes as the fluid gets hotter. So your car doesn't handle the same throughout the whole track session. But DAS doesn't have that issue. It handles the exact same way through the whole session. You know exactly what to expect when you turn the wheel every time. And it's super precise, and it has, at least generation 2 has good enough feedback that you know what the front tires are doing. And then there's no fatigue factor of fighting your power steering going away as your power steering fluid heats up. So you don't have to worry about that with DAS. So I absolutely enjoyed that. It was laser precise, and it did. And what little bit of I turned the wheel a little bit, the car turned a little bit. The chassis, at least the way my car is set up, turning the wheel just a tad rotated the car. So I had complete control over the car the whole time. Tire wise, with the Continental Stream Contact DWS06, they handled the track just fine. It was 80s, it was high 80s, low 90s the whole day. So it was a hot track. I didn't get no greasing of the tire. I didn't burn up my sidewall or nothing like that. So the tires felt perfectly fine. They were consistent the whole day, and they did not succumb to the heat of the track. I was actually pleasantly surprised, because I thought at minimum I was going to have to dial it back because of tires. Because the DWS06 is technically an all-season tire, or ultra high performance all-season tire. So I expected that I was going to probably have to eventually dial it back once the tire stopped gripping. But nope, consistent grip the whole time. Maybe I wasn't driving hard enough. Like I said, I'm not out there trying to race nobody. I was about what I felt to be about 8/10 for most of the day. And I think that's good enough to heat up some tires. And the tires felt great the whole day. So there's only one thing where I felt the car was lacking, and this was felt on one turn, turn 10A, 10B. is when you come into that turn, and from turn 9, it's downhill, and then you got to make a hard left and then a hard right up a hill. So you go down a hill, hard left, hard right, up a hill. When I made that hard right up the hill, that's when I would notice that the inside rear wheel would spin, and the brake limited slip differential didn't do its job right there. Every other turn, I never felt anything weird. I always felt like I had good exit grip out of the corner. But right there, nope. Spent the tire every time. You can actually hear it in the video, where every time I hit that spot, you're hearing me spin tires. And it was, well, at least the inside tire, you hear me spinning every time. And no matter how little I would, you know, use the VR30, so you know it get all this torque at like 1800. So that little bit of getting on the throttle, I would get all that torque, spin the inside. So I'm on the fence still about getting LSD, actual mechanical one, because 9 out of 10 situations the brake limit slip does what it's supposed to do. And then I have to like get on a track or on a certain autocross course before I would feel the need of LSD, to actually need a mechanical LSD. You know, I spoke about this in my brake limited slip differential video. You can find that. If you look through, you'll look up BLSD, and I speak on this a little bit further in that video. I go in more detail, but that was the only time I felt that the car was lacking. So it's just that I might need to get an LSD if I'm going to track the car more often, which I do have plans to continue doing. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about it, because it's like every other situation is good, so I go spend the money just for that one situation. Hey, I don't know. I might just do it just because. My 2020 resolution is to spend more money on myself, so, because I never buy myself nothing. So maybe I'll buy it. But with that, that's basically the rundown of a Q50 on a track. It is great in stock form. You don't need any mods. Just make sure your brake fluid is up to par, at least DOT4 or 5.1. Make sure you get rid of them trash stock pads. Get rid of them trash stock tires. And then you check your ego, and you are good to go to put your Q50 or Q60 on the track. With that, thanks for listening, and hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe.